It's rare that I'll look at a film title, watch the film, and then decide that that was the worst film title ever. It would be harsh to say A Dream of Christmas is the worst film title, but it is not a good title. I do not like it. Aside from that, I think the film is pretty decent. So this Hallmark film was released in 2016, and it's directed by Gary Yates and written by Mike Bell and also Gary Yates. And I'm not going to go into the narrative in any spoiler details, but the description from IMDb is as follows. When a restless young married woman is granted a wish by a Christmas angel to be single again, she soon discovers her new life isn't what she bargained for, and embarks on a quest to win back her husband. That's an interesting way of saying it, and it's not entirely untrue, but it's not like she wished to be single. So Penny, our protagonist, is standing in line. It's a long line. She's whinging about her husband, who is a photographer who's currently travelling away and might not even be back for Christmas, and she just says, almost flippantly, she wishes she never got married. It's one of those things where we say, oh, I could kill this person, or I wish I hadn't done something else. But this woman who's standing behind her, who I actually really loved, I'll talk about her in a moment, magically grants her this wish. And one morning she wakes up, she was never married. Her sister, I believe it's her sister, anyway, Nikki was never married. There are no children. She's in the same company, but her role is completely different. She doesn't know half the people around her. And I love that. I love it where the protagonist is the only person who doesn't know what's going on. I think that's so fun. And I'd say it works really well, actually, because of one particular character. So we have a bit of setting up time where she kind of wakes up and doesn't really realize what's happened or why, Stuart, her husband, doesn't exist. And slowly she begins to piece together that this can't be reality and that her husband just hasn't walked out. And because of her personal assistant at work, she's able to find her feet and be reminded of the names of different people, projects she's working on at work. And kind of through her assistant, she uses her assistant as a crutch. And that works quite well. Because often films like this, there isn't really a main source of information, and the person just seems to gel with their new old surroundings. But here they actually have a trope for that, and it works very well, and I was very impressed with that. She does occasionally bump into the woman who was behind her, and this woman is called Jayne. IMDb dubs her as the Angel, so I guess she's kind of like a Christmas angel, played by Cindy Williams. Absolutely love this character. I love her attitude, I love her outlook, I love her personality. I just think she's fabulous. And I wish she'd been in more. I wish it had been kind of like a Ghost of Christmas future situation where she was almost leading Penny by the hand. But that's just because I'm kind of smitten with this character. She was brilliant, absolutely loved her, and it made it make a bit more sense because, again, there are films like this where the character will wake up in an alternate reality, but they just woke up from a dream, or they maybe slipped and banged their head. But here you have an actual spiritual Christmas aspect that makes that happen, and it just gives it that extra little something that a lot of films fail to do. It's wonderful. The narrative development, as I said, is just perfect. It really gets it spot on. It doesn't, not everything's cliche. It actually fills a lot of gaps that a lot of these kind of films miss. It concludes itself. I won't say how it concludes itself, but it concludes itself in a way that I thought was satisfying, and I think it really got the message across. Obviously, the entire point of the film is be careful what you wish for, and it's lovely and it works very well. It's brilliant. It's not the most Christmassy film I've ever seen, but I think, for example, if you took away the character of Jayne, the angel, I'd kind of forget that it's a Christmas film sometimes. Apart from that and A Christmas Jumper, there's not that much about it that's Christmassy. But I think that can be overlooked because the narrative itself is very strong and it works very well. Casting absolutely fantastic. As I said, Cindy Williams plays Jayne, Andrew Walker is Stuart, and Nikki Deloach plays Penny, whose performance is brilliant. She goes from being your average person to being really skittish and confused and, really not sure about what's going on. Fun fact, she played a tall blonde girl in The House Bunny. Brilliant film. It looks like she's done quite a bit of Hallmark, so I'm definitely going to be checking out more of what she's done because I really did enjoy her performance. But you do need to let me know what you think of this if you watch it, because I just think it's brilliant. A Dream of Christmas is not a good name. The rest of the film, pretty great.